Hello, everybody out there. And by everybody out there, I mean it's just me and Andrew and everyone who's reading in on this. So it's we got news as we were getting into the chat. So I'm gonna wait until a few more of you guys are in. Yeah, the first comment that we got in here is of course RIP RBG. So like as we were getting into the studio here in Restream to set up. The first thing we found out, of course, is that Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away. And like, it's, you guys know that I joke occasionally that I'm gonna drink, and I'm not a drinker. There's actually alcohol in my glass for the first time ever on this show, and we're pouring one out. But I have to, before we keep on rambling, I just want to make sure you guys all know who my wonderful guest is. I'm batting above my weight here. We have the wonderful, brilliant, highly qualified, and surprisingly perfect for the day a guest for the day, Andrew Seidel. Andrew, thank you so much for joining me. And I hear, by the way, I just want to confirm. Is it true that you run the Twitter account Andrew Seidel's Butt?
It is not true. I don't
okay.
Know it is true that there is a Twitter account that is my butt. My butt has a Twitter account. It's not me. I'm not related to it. This is one of the many odd things that has happened to me in the course of this work.
What's the Twitter account? What is the @ for the Twitter account? What's the handle?
I'm not sure. It's the name that always pops up is Andrew Seidel's butt. I also have to say that the photo of the button is a lovely butt. But it's not mine.
Oh,
I mean, I'm doing squats and Pilates. I feel like I have to like work up to this thing now.
You're like, well, my butt is okay, but it's not like Twitter account butt.
No, it's not. Whatever the avatar is. I mean, I would, aspirational.
You're like that butt.
Not mine. Yeah.
But,
I mean, it's a weird life that I lead. I have a butt. My butt has a Twitter account. There was somebody wrote erotic fiction about Ken Ham and I.
Whoa. Yeah. So wait, what's the you know that I review porn, so I want to know what's the storyline of the erotic fiction? Like, is it kind of BDSM-y? Because that's something I would understand, given like.
I have not read the entire thing. I'm doing a copy of it.
Have you read the TLDR version?
Yeah, it's called Ken Ham and the Seidel Man, I believe, is what it's called. I mean, there are dinosaurs, there are animatronics. That
is fantastic. Like someone wrote, my co-host over on Two Girls One Mic, Alice. Somebody wrote a fan fiction of the two of us, and of course, it is very sexual. And there is a reference to Danny DeVito in there, and we were so proud of our fans. They worked in many a little inside joke reference. I was like, they're so good. But we joked for I guess Seidel's butt @Seidel's butt is the name of the account. It was I only one of our mutual friends mentioned that to me, and they're like, wait, do you run it? I'm like, I'd never heard of it, and now I'm amazed that it exists. Like I'm just sad that there's no account dedicated to my butt, and by sad I mean completely understand why. So it's like one day there will be an account dedicated to my eyebrows. That I demand one day.
It'll hopefully happen after this, I would think.
It's guys, get on this. So, anyway, fucking horrible thing happened moments ago. RBG is no longer with us, and we're about to lose the court for a generation. Not that, like, and this is I don't know if you've ever tuned in for one of my wacky little pants optional Fireside Chat / group therapy sessions. The name of this keeps getting longer. I'm bad at editing down. That's not one of my skills. But it's watching. I keep telling people you have to go, even if Biden was not your guy. Go vote because the up and down ballot races matter. Like, go vote because it's the people that are going to approve of whoever gets, who are going to vote in the Supreme Court nominees. Having those not be so ideologically far to the right that we lose the court is important. I'm curious, what do you see as the next thing that's going to happen here. It's, I'm sure there are some opinions, some insider information that you want to keep to yourself, but what can you say about this?
I mean, I'll say quite a bit. I mean, first, pour one out to RBG. She was an absolute giant.
Yeah.
I mean, just a titan on so many important progressive issues. One of the two remaining champions of the separation of state and church left on the court. So we now have Sotomayor. I mean, there are other liberal justices, but those are the only two reliable votes going the correct way on the Supreme Court on really, really important issues.
Is Kagan not so firm on separation?
Kagan and Breyer get it very wrong.
Really?
Too often.
I did not realize that.
So I mean, let's say that first of all. I mean, this is an incalculable loss. The second thing is that this is definitely going to affect the election. Having an open seat really amped up turnout for Trump and the Republicans last time. That means this is now on the table again this time. However, even with that, McConnell is absolutely, without a doubt, going to try to ram through another justice before January 3rd. Remember, it's not till November 3rd that we're getting through. It's January 3rd. That's when the new Congress is going to take office. So, I mean, this is, in my mind, this is the absolute most important fight of our lives. They're absolutely going to try it, and we're in a situation where maybe we have to shut the whole thing down for her.
When you say shut the whole thing down, what does that entail? I
mean, right now, we need 4 Republican senators to do the right thing. My recollection is that Murkowski of Alaska has said she would not vote to confirm a Supreme Court justice. In the last little bit, that's 1. But that's it. Everybody else has been on the fence. I would get on the phones now.
So what I'm asking is, do you know any of the male sex workers that Lindsey Graham hired, and do they have proof?
That would be, if they do that, this would be a fantastic time.
If you are a male sex worker who Lindsey Graham has hired and you have any amount of evidence, we would love to have you on the show. What I'm saying is, come spill. You can sit behind a curtain. I just want to see the receipts so that we know you're for real. Just come tell Mama Sai Babe. Mama Sai Babe wants to help you get this off your chest.
And everybody else, go open a new browser window. There's a number you can call. It's a 202 number for. You can call the Senate switchboard. Get on the phone. Call Mitt Romney's office right now.
Yes.
Tell him he needs to come out and say no. Call Susan Collins' office. Tell her she needs to come out and say no.
Susan. She'll confirm the judge and be like, now I'm very concerned that this judge is going to be just as bad as the last one that I nominated.
They're definitely going to try this.
Yeah.
I know everybody, nobody should rely on the idea that Mitch McConnell will, stick to the McConnell rule that he invented.
If you have to try to rely on, if the thing you're hoping to save you is relying on Mitch McConnell doing the right thing, you have nothing between you and certain doom anymore. It's going away. To our lovely audience, I'm sorry that these are the circumstances under which we're meeting this.
It makes you feel better. This was full when I signed it on 15 minutes before we started talking. And
dang! I mean, I think there are 3 shots or so in this, and I'm not I don't drink, so I'm I think these will taste good together, and put alcohol in it.
Let me address a comment I just saw scrolling by. My senator is firmly in Trump's pocket. No, absolutely not. I'm sorry. Get on the phone now. Senators, they're the only thing an elected official cares about is what you think. That is it. That is how they have their job. That is how they keep their job. Get on the goddamn phone and call them and tell them no. The idea that somebody is set in their, absolutely not.
Yeah, it's no, it's that's a good thing to grab some questions. That's part, like you and I aren't here just to chit chat to each other. We're
I
here
mean,
to
this was gonna go a very different way. I thought, like, I was when we were
no,
planning this, and it was
I had
exciting.
I had plans to chat about your book that I'm a lazy friend and still haven't read yet, but I'm planning on it. Like I had like look, I could have lied. I could have pulled a Bill Maher and lied about it. He has not read a book since high school, allegedly, from people who know. But yeah, allegedly he hasn't read a book since high school. Somebody tells people who come on the show that he's read that no, he is not. It's just there's your random little bit of info allegedly about Bill Maher. So moving on. But yeah, like we had smart brainy things about the future of the election to say, and what was going to happen based on historical precedent, and what was going on with with why all the things you wrote in the founding myth were applicable to what's going on now. And now it's just, oh fuck, what do we do right now?
I mean, it is. I know everybody should be scared. I mean,
Yeah.
2020 is without doubt the worst year I've ever experienced.
I don't. Yeah, it's
I
funny.
jokingly said to you at the beginning, like, I can't even recap how shitty a year this has been. And
Yeah,
we have a fourth of it left still. Like, there's still 3.5 months.
Oh, that's the part of it that makes it so awful. We've still got, let's see, half of September, October, November, just 3.5 months. Oh, I can't, no. Why couldn't you have told me a comforting lie about about time? This has been this year has been the longest millennia, man. Like there are weeks that turn into decades. It's just, it's been bad. So here's a question: how like, are there enough senators on on the right that could be talked into holding off a vote? Is it, do they need 50? What's the process in trying to stop a vote from going through right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's start right now. Call your senators. Call your senators. Call your senators.
Gotcha.
I mean, I don't. Even if you know they are a lock, they need to hear from you, because this is how they set priorities.
And they also need to hear from you if you're like, I'm not going to vote for you. If you're someone who will go out and work to get them defeated.
Yeah.
If they pass this.
No, I mean, it is just, I can't tell. I know there are a lot of people who are really jaded and cynical and skeptical about the impact that you can have. But think back to 2016-17 when the fight was over the Affordable Care Act and everybody was calling the Senate. It worked. It can have an impact. I mean, there's not a whole lot that we have to do. And it helps to call, no matter who they are. There are
somebody just asked, from Alex from over on YouTube asked, my senators are Dems. Is there a point in me calling them when yep, it's even if it's for
sure. They need to know that this is the thing that you care about, so they can make it a priority and do all they can to stop it and shut the Senate down. I mean, if this continues to look bad, like, it may be a case where all hands on deck, just go to the Senate, go to the Capitol, close DC down with a march. Like, I mean, that is the situation that we are in right now.
You're making if any of you folks out there watch ContraPoints, and if you're not watching, she's one of my favorite YouTubers. If you're not watching ContraPoints yet, watch. She has a character that she plays within her universe of characters called Tabby, who's kind of a far left-wing Marxist revolutionist who whenever you hear these types of things, she goes, Tabby. Pulls out a baseball bat and it's like, Tabby smash. So when you said we need to go to DC and shut the whole thing down, I'm like, between the little cat ears on the headphones, I'm like, what? Throw the opportunity for smash?
It may be the case. It legitimately may be the case. I mean,
it's terrifying, and it's like, what else do we do now? It's like, I feel like RPG did everything she could to stay alive as long as fucking possible to prevent this, and here we are.
Yeah. No, I mean, she absolutely did, and just, it's It's
Yeah.
really, I mean, it's really, I'm sure people have seen the movie on the basis of sex and things like that, and that just
Yeah.
begins to scratch
There's
the surface of what she was able to do and how she was able to do. I mean, her career was
yeah.
astounding, but the impact she had on the law and on progressive issues, sex, reproductive rights. I mean, you name it. Just
It's the
um,
the number of people who are doing good work today to progress various liberal causes, to progress various causes that it's like you think of, you're like, why are these still things that we're fighting for? The reason that people are able to get as far as they can is because RBG pushed forward the line as far as she did and was able to get that far because she was that good.
she was. She was. I mean, I never got tired of. I almost enjoyed reading her dissents more than I did her majority opinions, though that meant we were winning. So it's better feeling overall. But just a
Oh.
phenomenal legal mind, just a titan that we've lost. I
Oh.
am so saddened.
No, you're not the only lawyer friend of mine who said they really enjoyed her dissents.
There's not enough alcohol in the world at the moment.
I'm like, why did I just bring a glass with 3 shots in? This is not enough alcohol for me today. Luckily, I have a vape here, so don't worry, we have enough drugs to maybe get through. Oh my God, this is a nightmare.
I mean, it has to go through a hearing. It has to go through
Yeah.
cloture, but then it's just a vote. I mean, there's a lot to do, but you also have to remember they have this locked and loaded and ready. They know
Oh yeah,
they
like
know who they're
I
going to
mean,
nominate.
like you know enough about how the sausage gets made in DC. Like I'm sure you probably already know the short list of who's there, how bad they are towards the type of issues that we're terrified that they're going to be bad about, and how like ready they are to go on this.
We've vetted every name on Trump's short list. I've looked at every single one of them. There is not a single bright spot on that list, and they are almost like I'm reluctant to make a prediction, but my prediction is going to be Amy Coney Barrett, who's been a judge for less than 3 years. Super conservative Catholic, wrote a long time ago about how judges, when confronted between a conflict with their Catholic faith and their secular oath to uphold the law, may have to do the Catholic thing instead.
Oh, she sounds great.
And if you pay attention to Senate confirmation hearings at all, which I know most people don't, except when Kavanaugh was up there, really pissed off that anybody dared question him. I believe Dr. Blasey Ford, for the record. If you do, other than that, you probably might have heard the conservatives making a lot of noise about there being questioning of judges along religious grounds. There's this infamous quote, I guess now, Dianne Feinstein asked nominee, the dogma lives loudly within you. And that kind of got blown up and exploded.
Oh, I remember that.
That was Amy Coney Barrett that she was questioning. And the reason they latched onto that and made a big deal about it was because I'm almost certain because they are trying to head off questioning on future confirmation hearings for.
It's funny. That was back in the day when I was still friends with Republicans.
That was like 2017 or I mean. Well, first of all, what is time? What is even time?
It's a meaningless flat circle.
We're in the Mobius strip of hell.
Oh, I don't even remember 2017 and 2018. Do you? No. I don't remember which things happened. Anything that's happened since the Trump administration started, it's all like blur of horribleness that we can't control and have no idea. It's just.
So I actually have a theory about this that's sort of, it's not science.
Yeah, no, it's bring the science, sir. Okay. Bring the science. We want it.
First of all, for the record, I have a science degree. I have a BS. Neuroscience and environmental science.
Look, you're the. Not that we've only had one guest on this. This is brand new. Where I'm gonna bring people into my fuzzy, happy little bubble of non-scariness. But I looked up all of your creds and I was like, oh man. He is. I'm terrified because I am batting above my weight on this. So I'm like, I'm just glad that he's a friendly genius. So
Not true, not true at all. I'm honored to be on,
you're a
but
meme genius?
no, you're not true that you're batting out of your league here.
No, it's you come with many a credential, which
I
is
appreciate it.
which is wonderful. So
You're too kind. So
I am honest.
okay, so
Sir.
here's my theory on time in the Trump era. I think that humans tend to measure time the way a lot of people drive, with landmarks. And I think those
Oh,
landmarks are essentially newsworthy events. Like, there's like
that
one
makes
big
sense.
newsworthy event each week. And you're like, and that's kind of how we used to measure time. And then Trump destroyed all that. And now there are
Yeah.
5 or 10 a day, so many a day that you can't keep up with them. And I actually think I think part of our perception of time is related to that, and it has just
So much
completely
sense.
blown up our internal timelines.
And there was an article that I read just yesterday that was talking about one of the things that kind of helps us mark the time and kind of helps us mentally get through the trudge of daily life is looking forward to things, looking forward to shit, like especially vacations. A lot of us are not like, where can you go safely? People, even when you have time off, can't go anywhere because you can't leave America. You can go to Albania.
That's the hardest thing about the quarantine and the COVID is like, there's no end in sight. It'd be easy if it was like, just do this for 2 months. Not that Americans could do that. Just do this for 2 months and we'll be out. Like, that makes it easier. You can see the end, but we don't have that.
And it's like, here's the thing, if we had all locked down hard, and I mean, like, and not that anyone ever wants to hear it, let's do something the way China did with the whole lockdown and with it being authoritarian. And hold on a second. Mom has entered the chat. There are little things that happen every week that we have to, announce.
I understand. You must honor the traditions.
Well, welcome to. Look, there's also a tradition where we both lick the screen at some point of this. So at some point, I thought that was
obvious. I didn't realize that had to be explained.
Okay.
I mean,
thank you.
Every podcast I go on, I always just lick the screen. It's
it started one day, and it's just it has stayed a thing, and I can't. Look, if stopping it would be like stopping entropy. I can't. I couldn't. I can't do it to these lovely people. They put up with me.
I would never ask that of you or them.
Anyway, so where was I before I so rudely interrupted myself? Oh, my cat's trying to computer, and he's incapable. Baby, you don't have opposable thumbs yet. So
makes it hard.
It's very hard. Oh, let's see. Scrolling through and trying to. As soon as Simon entered, I got distractificated.
That's quite all right.
Which is not atypical, but yeah. I feel like we could just kind of like keep rambling about that this entire time because Jesus fucking Christ, this is terrifying.
I don't even know what to do. I mean, should we try to? Maybe people want to weigh in. I mean, should we just try
to
set aside and weigh in? My temptation is to wallow.
I'm scrolling through and trying to see where some questions are and whatnot, and trying to look. We're gonna try to respond to your wallowing now because it's a perfect time. That's what a lot of what this live stream kind of started because I wasn't like a streamer for the first 5 years of doing this. I was mainly writing, and then mainly writing, then dealing with like a year of depression where I wrote nothing, and then COVID hit, and it was like, let's see what I can do to help. So anytime there was something new and weird that was filled with propaganda and was wrong out there, I'm like, all right, let's plop down really quickly and explain it instead of going through an editor for 2 weeks.
Yeah, and then you're also building community and these fun traditions of licking the screen, and like that's we're all so disconnected right now.
Yeah, and it's
really important.
it's been good. It's been oddly good for my mental health. And a lot of people, like when they show up on Friday, have said, this is a highlight of my week. I'm like, I'm a highlight of your week, sir. Get more highlights. That again, we are very disconnected, and it's like it's been kind of it has been nice to know that there's a group of people who's going to deal with my weirdness for an hour or so. Like let's scroll. Someone said, Harley Jones said, time for some retail therapy. There's nowhere to go shopping. I did have a tiny bit of retail therapy after returning, before before hopping on here, Andrew and I were talking about my difficulty with getting a webcam that works. And as you guys can see, I have decent video quality. But from returning them to Amazon, I had a bunch of Amazon credit built up. So I decided to treat myself. My retail therapy is my kit-on ear things. So I'm happy with it.
I could probably get some up there. I think I'd like devil horns if I was going to do it, though. I think that's where.
I think it would fit the whole, Christian nation is a myth thing. I think you go for that. I can see it. I can see you having that dogma in you. Oh, I now I remember what it was. I was still hanging out with Republicans in 2017, and it was my friend Julie. Like, she's works for kind of a Republican libertarian think tank. And at the time, I did not when I got into all this, I did not know the world that I was entering into. Did not know the players, but she works. I don't know if she still works there or not. She was working for the Independent Women's Forum, which very far to the right. And before it was a little bit more. It was a little more libertarianish, and now it's like people said a bad thing about Trump. They're obviously Marxists. They're those people.
Yeah.
But it was. What was I saying about her? I had a story I was going with that. Shit.
Well, I'm happy to report that I had quite a few Republican friends going into 2016.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I don't know any of them that are either still Republican or voting for Trump.
The ones that I'm still friends with are not voting for Trump. There are ones that I got rid of because they went further and further down that rabbit hole. And the time that I ended up defriending, it sucks because I miss her. I ended up being I can't do this anymore. It was after the shooting in the synagogue, and her first thought, and I am of Jewish descent. My DNA says I'm exactly half Jewish and half French. But she right after the shooting, the only thing she could post about on Twitter was how horrible Louis Farrakhan was. And I'm like, all right, so let's get something clear. Nobody thinks Louis Farrakhan is a hero. Nobody's like, this guy is totally just, the Jews love we're giving everyone who's liberals giving him a pass and thinks we think he's bad too, Julie. But she could not find anything fast enough to get heat off of her guys. It was so, and that was when I was like, you're not going to stick up for me when they decide, first we'll get rid of anyone who's very clearly, obviously not white. And then they're going to start declaring other groups not white. And the first group that they declare not white out of the people who are visibly, or who are visually white are the Jews. And I'm just like, when I see my friends go so far in that direction, I'm like, you're not going to stand up for me when the time comes.
No, and I mean, it's. I think it's very easy to shrug off the fact that we are sliding towards fascism.
Oh yeah, how far into it are we now? I mean,
and that's the thing. It's the slow-boiled frog, and I mean, if you were to tell us, I mean, even in 2016, where we would be now, I mean. There's a whistleblower talking about, mass hysterectomies at ICE facilities on the border. And take it with a grain of salt because it's a whistleblower reporting it and it hasn't been proved or independently confirmed that I've seen yet.
But it seems it tracks, just
it's
right in there.
I mean, they threw kids in cages and cited the Bible to justify that, Romans 13. This is the Attorney General of the United States, Bill Barr, has turned the Department of Justice into a private Christian nationalist law firm.
Now, here's a question that I think, because a lot of people look at what's happening with Bill Barr, myself included, and go, I know this is wrong, and I can figure out a few reasons. I get that he's not supposed to be the lawyer for the president, but I think some people are very easily, people who are not necessarily hardcore Republicans, but people who don't pay attention to politics all the time are kind of going, I don't see what's wrong with this. They don't quite get they don't necessarily they're not necessarily bathed in the legalities of it. Could you explain kind of what? Could you explain all of his oversteps? Explain the general feel of the oversteps.
I mean, I can't explain all of them.
Do you have 7 hours?
Yeah, we do not have enough time, and again, enough alcohol to do that.
Yeah.
I'll say a few things. One, Bill Barr is without doubt a Christian nationalist. We have known that since before he came into office. He literally, clearly, and consistently blamed secular Americans for all the evils in this country, that the country is not Catholic enough, that the country is not Christian enough. That is why everything is happening. Everything bad is happening. Okay, I mean, he was
someone just dropped a giantly long comment
about this. Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, that's a good 300 words. I mean, he is without doubt a Christian nationalist. This is the kind of person that we are fighting against. This is the kind of person I wrote my book to. I wrote my book to destroy the identity that undergirds the power.
Well, now I'm downloading the audiobook like immediately.
I wanted Seth to read it, and I didn't get it. I wanted to read it, and then I wanted Seth to read it, and I didn't get it. I was actually trying to think. I was trying to think. I think the last time you and I actually hung out was me, you, and the last thing I remember.
Yeah, it was Florida, right?
And we were watching. You had Dr. Pimple Popper.
Oh my God!
That was the first time I'd ever seen it, and I was like,
now Seth is like addicted to them.
Yeah. It's totally addicting. I don't know. I don't understand why, but it is. Like,
I'm having Seth on next week too, so we can talk about it. It's like, hey, guess what? The one thing, Andrew Seidel's memory of me involves zit popping.
I think that's just the last time we hung out.
No, it was just
other fond memories of you as well.
Oh yeah, but like it's funny that like now this is the thing that like because I've shown this to a few people like back before Dr. Pimple Popper got a fucking TV show.
I know.
Like yeah. I'm like, okay, so now like people don't think it's like people still think it's fucking weird, but like now I'm like, all right, you all are addicted to my secret shame now too.
Yeah, no, I saw that she had a TV show, and I was like, I knew about that. Like
you're like, yeah, I'm totally the normal. The thing that I've read a while ago, one of the reasons that people like that is because it's kind of an evolutionary thing, because it's people getting rid of disease, and that's kind of the evolutionary reason why people will pick at pimples, why people will scratch at certain things, because it's a thing that we naturally that is if you're someone who is prone to or is shall we say likes to groom, you're more likely to get rid of some critter that's burrowed into your skin, or some infection that's burrowed into your skin than someone that is not doing that. So that is why those habits of trying to pick shit out of your skin.
I'm so happy there is a legitimate explanation I can turn to for that now.
Yeah, the reason that you like watching infection getting squeezed out of skin, it's totally normal evolutionarily. Yeah.
Let me say two more things about Bill Barr.
Oh yeah, tell more. We'll take all of it.
One, to everybody who keeps saying RBG, yes,
that's why we're drinking. I feel like I need more alcohol because I've had, I think, 3 shots, and I never have 3 shots, and I am not feeling enough of it. I'm going to be getting drunk tonight.
Yeah,
I don't remember the last time I was drunk.
That is the only solution.
I want to not know my name by the time I go to sleep. I want to not remember the name of the person who died. Oh my God.
If you want a really good explanation of why Bill Barr is terrible, Randall Eliason, who's just a wonderful attorney, great former prosecutor, teacher, law professor now, he wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post I don't remember when, recently, this week, and goes over why Bill Barr is awful in many ways, and comes at it from the standpoint of somebody who he knows how Bill Barr should be acting. He's been in a role very similar to that. So you should read that. And the second thing I will say is Barr is a reason, his behavior is, I think, why we need some sort of truth and reconciliation commission to hold Trump and his cronies like Barr accountable for the crimes and misdemeanors that they have committed. I mean, I know there's a big live and let live, forgiveness.
No. Nixon should be pardoned. They should. I will. As to quote a friend of mine who's a big Democratic fundraiser, like that's does a ton of text baking and all the things that you have to do to try to get out the vote. As he phrased it, I will settle for nothing less than that asshole in jail. And I'm like, I'm on for that. I can deal with that.
I mean, and I think it's necessary. They have done such a good job of destroying our institutions and our norms that they cannot recover without a reckoning, without justice. I mean, if they can do that and get away with it, then those norms will not survive ever. The only way we get back close to where we are is if there is some sort of accountability. I think literally the survival of the republic depends on holding them accountable. Yeah,
and I mean, it was interesting because I've posted like there's a small group of science pages that kind of we chit chat behind the scenes and try to like. A couple of us noticed, other pages were all likewise posting, I don't want to say anti-Trump yet stuff, but like in order to post pro-science stuff, you are necessarily posting anti-Trump stuff lately because he's stuck his dick in the science. And it's like, hey, your dick is in my science. I can't just work around this. I gotta dig the dick out a little bit or else, that's,
I mean, reality has an anti-Trump bias. Like it's insane. Like facts and reality are anti-Trump.
Yeah, and it's like there was one thing I posted a link to the tweet from Scientific American saying that they're for the first time in their 100 some odd year history that they've endorsed Biden. And I had a ton of people like it's interesting just what the algorithm will pick up and what who ends up commenting on things. But all I did was post a link to Siam saying that they're endorsing Biden. All of a sudden inundated with people saying this is going to ruin their legacy and this is just your liberal bias. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? There's somebody over on whatchamacallit, because I get comments in from all sorts of social media. So my folks who are mainly watching this from Facebook are not seeing the comments from Pit Dog 007 on whatchamacallit. Where was this? It's on Periscope because I can't remember words. Who's saying such lovely comments as hold on a second, let me find some of them. Biden is bananas, as opposed to the guy in the White House. I'm just saying, we all saw the Axios interview. We all saw it's on tape. He gave 18 interviews. Like anyone who's saying Biden is crazy, like he has a stutter and occasionally stutters over a thing. He stood there and took questions for hours with no one fucking helping him with Anderson Cooper last night, as opposed to Trump, who cannot who cannot survive interviews he said he was going to take and that are on tape and then denies the things that he says that are on tape. I'm just saying, I don't want to hear another word about Biden being crazy or not being there cognitively. Every time you actually watch an interview with him, a full interview, he's fine. He's fine.
I'll go farther than that. Like Biden was not my choice in the primary.
Same.
He's not who I wanted.
He was like bottom 3 for me.
Yeah, he was very far down on. He was very far down on my list. But I will say this: like I am excited to vote for him, and I'm not excited to vote for him just because I'm anti-Trump. Though I am, I think. I mean, we are in an existential moment where this is live or die for the country and probably the world.
If it was Rick Santorum, I would be excited to vote for him.
See, that's what I'm saying though. I'm trying to draw that distinction. Like I think like Biden's policies, if you go on his website and read about his economic plan, like it is a climate change. It is there to fight global climate change and bring back the economy in one. It's brilliant.
This is what I try to keep telling people that I think they're not aware of, because I have as probably as you do too. Like I have friends that are further to the left of me. Like I'm, many.
I'm coming off like a real far lefty on this right now. Yeah, I can tell. Storm Congress, shut it down. But yeah,
no, I mean Pit Dog 007 just commented, I'm conservative. We had no clue. We couldn't tell at all. What would have been our first clue other than everything you've said since you've come in here? Moving on. But it's, yeah, how could we have told? But I mean, I'm like, I don't want to say, like, I'm not a centrist. I'm like middle of the road Democrat, maybe like a little to the left of the party. But like, this is what I have to try to keep explaining to my friends that are kind of, Bernie people. The person furthest to the left in the terms of their voting record in the Senate, other than Bernie, wait for it, Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris. Second, she is the only person who has a more liberal voting record than her has been Bernie Sanders. So when people are like, oh, she's a cop, I'm like, no, she's a lawyer, for fuck's sake. She has never been a police officer. She's a very good lawyer. And I think like when people are trying to figure out how she's going to legislate based on how she's been a lawyer, I'm like, maybe you should look at how she's going to work as president based on how she's been a legislator. That seems to be a more apt comparison. But I think looking at this as like, because people are trying to pin it as just the Biden, I think looking at this at the strengths of both Biden and Harris is a more apt way to see how they're going to. How they're going to manage.
I think that was well said. I mean, and I think they're going to do. I think they're going to do an awesome job. Like I really do. I mean, there are, like, if you go look at some of Biden's healthcare initiatives too, like they are good. Like you will never. I'm going to get the numbers wrong, and I don't want to do it. But go check it out. There are safeguards in there so that you will not spend more than 7 or 8% of your income ever on healthcare. Like,
wow,
how is everybody not behind that? It is. Go check them out, learn them. I mean, and let's start talking about that. I mean, the more I did that, I was thinking like, why I don't want to talk about Trump this much. He sucks. Yeah. It's miserable.
We all know how bad he is. Why don't we start telling people how good Joe Biden is and how good Kamala Harris is?
Yeah.
So it's as much as he wasn't the majority of people, if we had ranked choice voting, I don't know if we'd still have Joe Biden. But then again, like, we can sit here and kind of try to do an autopsy of the election, and we'll never know. But this is a guy that we have. He's been the vice president before. He knows the ropes of how the executive branch works, and he's going in there with somebody who's younger and has a lot of good ideas they're going to bring to the executive branch. I'm excited about that.
Here are like 3 just simple facts. Joe Biden has a plan for healthcare. Donald Trump does not. He wants to rip apart the Affordable Care Act. He's trying to do it in court right now.
Oh my God.
And Joe Biden has a plan for healthcare. Okay, there's one. Joe Biden has a plan for climate change. Donald Trump denies that it exists.
It's a Chinese hoax, just like COVID.
Simple fact. I mean, and that's the third one. Like, there is no plan for combating the lethal fucking pandemic that is killing hundreds of thousands of Americans right now. The Trump plan is, we don't have a plan. We're going to deny the reality of it. And Joe Biden has a plan. It's going to be in place and going the moment the election is over. Like,
I mean, and this is what I keep asking people who are moderates, who are like, I just don't think I'm going to show up. I'm not wild about Biden. I'm like, all right, who do you want in charge when we have vaccines that we have to roll out at a national level? And who do you want? Who do you want? Who do you want possibly holding vaccines back from blue states because they didn't treat them nice enough? Or who do you want in charge of rolling them out because they might because they're holding them back because they want to make a profit off of them for them, their family, the federal government, whoever. I don't trust Trump to roll these vaccines out. Honestly, not in the least, and that's worrying. We shouldn't have a president in charge who we're afraid is going to fuck with the vaccines, or at least in the rollout.
He's very clearly going to. I mean, you and I also post pictures of a sexy bare arm getting my flu shot, encouraged by you. Like, I am as pro-vaccine as you can be, but I do not trust Trump with this. And like, let's just say for a second that he is in office when the vaccine comes down. There's zero chance that he does not play politics with distributing that vaccine.
Yeah, I mean, we know it's going to go.
$3 billion to Puerto Rico today, we just found out about because they saw the polls about Trump and Puerto Rican voters in Florida. Like the PPP money that was meant to help everybody after this quarantine took effect, right? That also went to houses of worship unconstitutionally in this constitution.
Yep. It went to it went to giant corporations, not to the small businesses like you'd expect.
And before it was widely available, the White House, Trump with Paula White, held secret calls with all of his Christian nationalist evangelical supporters, telling them how to apply and how to go about doing this quickly so they would definitely get the money. I mean, he is using the office to reward his political supporters. Guaranteed he's going to do that with the vaccine. Guaranteed.
I want to scream very loud right now, but you seem like a nice person and I don't want to hurt your ears.
It's your show.
I'll scream later. I have a maximum on my hours that I'm allowed to scream into the void, and this would go over my max hours in the day that I'm allowed to just.
I mean, if there's any day to do it.
Oh God, how could we have lost Ruth?
Well, I mean, and let's say one other thing to just bring this home too.
We can keep saying one other thing all that we can add. Don't worry. Like there's always going to be one other. Oh my God, this is horrible.
All the plans in the world, and this is something I'm on like a number of behind the scenes committees and groups that talk twice, 3 times a week about the courts and things and the important things like that, and messaging in case the Supreme Court justice doesn't make it through the end of the year. All the plans that Joe Biden has and that a Biden-Harris administration have are great, and I mean, people really ought to go to their website and read up on them. But the number one thing that we have to, I mean, Trump has put almost a quarter of the judges on the federal judiciary are Donald Trump appointees,
which is
it's insane.
How far out of the norm is that from?
I can't even describe to you how far out of the norm it is. I've never seen anything like it. They put 8 judges in this week. I mean, they no Obama appointees past July were put in. 8 this week. There is a pandemic on. The country is literally on fire because of climate change. Yeah. And the only thing the Senate is doing is confirming Trump judges. That's it. That's all McConnell is doing. One reason to be deeply alarmed about what fight is coming.
So what you're saying is we have to kill Mitch McConnell. I'm not saying that. No one would ever say that.
I'm not endorsing that unfinished thought.
Can pancreatic cancer be caught? I'm just wondering. Like, could Ruth Bader Ginsburg have coughed that onto Mitch McConnell?
I don't know how some of these people have not gotten COVID. I mean, I don't know how Trump.
Yeah, just the amount of just wandering around.
What evidence for there not being a God? I mean, not being a just God. There you go, right there.
Yeah, it's either that or maybe I'm wrong about everything. There is a God, and he likes Trump. Like that's that someone's going to take that out of context.
God is a dick.
It's God is the old school, like the Old Testament. I'm going to smoke your ass. Fuck you all. God, that's the God. Maybe there's the proof we needed that Trump has not gotten COVID yet.
But this is, I mean, there has to be a fix to the federal judiciary.
Yeah. So
you can have all the awesome progressive plans in the world, and if they can't survive a challenge in the courts, and they won't.
No. Oh, this is something that I know. I believe it was Pete Buttigieg, dear God. Clearly.
I kind of like the other one. I don't know.
Pete Buttigieg will be his new name. I'm gonna try to get Pete Buttigieg on the. That's gonna be my new, like, if I have to make like a parody character, it's going to be Pete Buttigieg. There we go. Pete Buttigieg, he of the many languages spoken, he suggested that if he were to win the primary and get into the White House, he would expand the courts. Now, how easily is that done? Is that something, like, if Biden gets in, and we say somehow we managed to flip the Senate and hold the Congress, and we just get in there and everything's clear. We got everything again. What are the steps to getting to expanding the number of justices on the Supreme Court?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I think the number one thing that I want everybody to come away with is there is absolutely a fix to this, and it's not that hard. The number of judges is not set in the Constitution, so Congress can just change it if they want.
So, and how many members of Congress? Like, is that something that you just need?
The first thing you would do is you destroy the first thing you would do is you destroy the filibuster, and then you would need a simple majority to do that.
So all we have to do, we only have to do a few things. We have to destroy the filibuster. We have to undo all the fucking gerrymandering, and then gerrymander for us. Wait, yeah. So let's chit chat about that, because I don't think people I believe so. Gerrymandering on the basis of race is illegal, but gerrymandering blatantly on the basis of political party is not. That's correct, right?
You are correct. So the Supreme Court said, the Roberts Supreme Court said that you can set district lines to favor political parties, and that's perfectly fine under the Constitution. So, wow. Yeah, terrible decision. Absolutely the wrong decision.
Like, I want a higher court. I want a Supremer Court to be like, no, bad monkey. What were you thinking?
Yeah.
What? How?
It's terrible, but I mean, like this is kind of. I mean, this is partly why we are in the position we are in. I mean,
like I try to look at all of these things and go, how would this affect me? Like if were I a Supreme Court justice, I've been on a runway wearing electrical tape on my nipples. I'm never going to be on the Supreme Court. So were I a Supreme Court justice, I think that I would sit there thinking, how would this work out if the other, and I was trying to vote for something that helped out my side. I think I would try to ask myself, how would this work out if the other party, if someone I really didn't like for the other party was in power, and like never try to make a power grab on something that you think is going to fuck you if the other party has control of it. And I don't see how they haven't considered that. Maybe they have, and they're like, nah, we'll just use our old dirty, rotten tricks to get rid of this law by the time they're in power.
I mean, that's a really good explanation of where a lot of liberals and progressives stand on a lot of issues. Like, I wouldn't want this done to me if I were in power, so we're not going to play the dirty politics and dirty games. And I think that's part of the reason that we are kind of in the spot that we're in. Like, you and I were talking beforehand, like, gerrymandering sucks, and political gerrymandering should not happen, but the Supreme Court has said it's constitutional. So California and Washington and Oregon should gerrymander those states to high hell. There should not be a Republican in Congress from those states. Yeah, I mean,
I'm just saying, we could get rid of Devin Nunes forever. We could never hear him whine about people's Twitter accounts ever again. I love that he's suing a Twitter account. That's just 2020. Just so on point.
That's a losing lawsuit. Just
so it's
like, there's zero chance of success.
Has it gotten thrown out? Yeah, what is this man's problem?
Honestly, I like skimmed the complaint when it was filed, and I was like, "Yep, that's nothing. That's not going to win." And I haven't paid attention to it since. I don't know where it is because I just know it's literally nothing.
I feel like a ton of legislators are lawyers. So I'm looking at that going, is Devin Nunes a lawyer? Like, wouldn't he know that this is not going to get anywhere? Or is he just a really stupid lawyer?
I mean, a lot of people file lawsuits like that on purpose to just intimidate and to make other people's lives miserable. Yeah. It sucks to get sued. Yeah. And so, the anti-SLAPP laws are a good remedy to that.
Yeah, and
anti-SLAPP law would be a lovely idea.
Yeah, but they would never. No one doing that federally would mean that would take away a lot of people's ability to actually, use those horrible, shitty lawsuits. So they'll never enforce one of. Glad I live in California, where we have an anti-SLAPP suit.
Yeah.
Or anti-SLAPP. Yeah. to a point, but people still have to deal with them. It's whenever I write something about a bullshit artist, it's like the biggest fear is always I'm gonna get the living shit suit out of me, and it's like it stopped me from. I wouldn't say it stopped me from writing some articles, but I've written articles that have not gotten published by places that asked for the article because they're like, we're too afraid to get sued. I'm like, I did all this work. They're like, we'll still pay you. I'm like, yes, but I needed people to see this. Yeah. I needed circulation on your platform, or else this was not good for me. This was the whole point of me. So that's the fun part of being in a sue-happy environment. So
it's awful. It really is. I mean, there's a lot of fixes to our legal system that ought to and need to happen. But again, the first thing that has to happen with any new progressive administration, got to fix the federal judiciary.
Yeah. And I mean, how, how does it start? So other than fixing, other than fixing the Supreme Court, then how does the federal judge system work? I don't know how else to ask that, because these are all presidential appointees, correct?
Yeah, so the president appoints them, and they are confirmed by the Senate. That's like the most basic outline you can do. They are appointed for life. They are not going anywhere once they're on the federal bench. They can be promoted. So the lowest level is district court judge, then there's circuit court judges, and then there's Supreme Court justices. So that is, I mean, the basic extent of it. And obviously, Trump has appointed far more lower court judges just because there's far more openings. But, you're talking 25%, getting close to 25% that he has done. And I am pulling up Mitch McConnell's Twitter feed right now, just out of curiosity. Last line of his statement is, President Trump's nominee will receive a vote on the floor of the United States Senate. That means they are, I'm
gonna mute myself for a second so I can scream, just because it's gonna be really loud.
Yes. So while she is screaming, again, reiterate what I said at the beginning of this, that this is the fight of our lives, folks, that you need to be on the phone with your senators every single day, and we may have to go to DC to shut this thing down.
I feel so much better after screaming. I mean, my throat hurts, but I feel better. Yeah. What the fuck? What? As I keep telling everyone who's been like, I don't know if I'm gonna vote for Biden because he's not far enough. There are other Supreme Court justices that might die or retire. The worst one being retire. There are right-wingers on the court that could retire specifically so that Trump can put in a 50-year-old to replace them.
Yeah, Justice Breyer, pretty damn old as well.
Yeah, we don't have right now. We're fucked. We are fucked right now. And it's only going to get fucked in a holy, are you kidding me, way worse way if we don't win the White House, the Senate, and have a shot at getting our Supreme Court justices in there, in those remaining 3 seats.
But again, I mean, if we do a good enough job in 2020, I mean, there are fixes to this. There are fixes to the Supreme Court. And I know a lot of people want to talk about not appointing judges for life, things like that. The judges for life is in the Constitution. That's a much harder fix.
Gotcha.
The number on the Supreme Court and the structure of the Supreme Court itself even you can mess with that quite a bit. There's not a lot of guidance in the Constitution. The founders really left it to Congress. Well, to this.
I wish they could just have 20-year terms. 20 years sounds like a reasonable amount of time.
It may, if you're the founders in 1787 sitting in a hot room in Philadelphia trying to figure this out, it makes a lot of sense. The goal was to make it so that they were not beholden in any way to anybody politically. They were as insulated to be able to decide cases
Gotcha.
solely on the legal questions and the merits of the case, not on any other political. It was meant to insulate them.
So if they were there for life, it meant that no temptations in any direction from.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know what the lifespan was in 1787, but it was a lot, not what it is now.
I hear lifespan got much longer once we figured out penicillin, and they were not there yet. They were at that point they were pre-homeopathy. They were let's treat shit with sugar pills. So they were still at bloodletting and leeches at that point. So they were 200. Let's see, they were 150 years before the lobotomy. Then. So we thought the lobotomy was a good idea. Yes,
it made a lot more sense then, right? Like, and also throughout our history as a country, we've tended to want experienced, measured, sort of like people who have wisdom that comes with the years on the bench, and that norm has been blown up. It's been trending backward. Shadows, sorry, backward, younger and younger judges. Yeah. I mean, with this Trump administration, I mean, they're nominating people who are 36, 37. Some of them have no real legal experience at all. Go look up one of the judges they confirmed this week, Mizell, thinks paper money's unconstitutional. Oh
my God! I just
law firm. She worked at a law firm for 2 years. She clerked for a bunch of judges. Yeah, but that's not practicing law.
These people are just. What? Yeah. Like, I hear all this, and like, it's the equivalent of hearing that the intern who was cleaning glassware for 2 years is getting promoted to the director of toxicology. Like, this is what this sounds like to me in science terms. Like hearing people who have, you don't know how dangerous it can be to be in charge of toxicology. But no, I mean, like that it is worse than that. It's like these are not people who have the robust understanding and experience that you'd hope for in someone who's in charge of all of this stuff, who's the top justice in the land. Like, I don't understand. I mean, let me rephrase this. I perfectly understand why they're doing this, but I'm like, I don't understand how people who you would at least hope got into office because they cared about the country are still not just letting but pushing this. And like you said, it's because they're Christian nationalists, and
that's the big problem that we were going to talk about.
Yeah, well, let's just, you know what, we have time. Unless you have somewhere to go immediately, like we have time. So let's chat Christian nationalism. Some people might not know exactly. Let's give a definition on the term. We have some time.
Christian nationalism is the idea that the United States was founded as a Christian nation, that we are based on Judeo-Christian principles, and most importantly, that we've strayed from those foundations, right? That we've gotten away from our godly roots. And so they use the language of returning to our godly heritage, returning to that Christian nation, to justify all manner of hateful, evil public policy. We talked about throwing kids in cages earlier. I mean, that was justified with the Bible by citing Romans 13. There are so. I mean, basically, many of the legislative policy evils that you can point to stem or are justified using Christian nationalism.
Jesus. It's just, and it's is there any equivalent kind of underlying philosophy or drive that we see on the right on the left that we see on the right like this, or is this its own thing that we're only really seeing from that infiltrating one side to this point?
No, I mean, this is really only on the conservative side. It really is this incestuous marriage between conservative religion and conservative politics, and the goal really is nothing short of making Christian nationalists this special favored class. I mean, the
goal is Handmaid's Tale. Jesus.
I mean, it's to rewrite and redefine the Constitution so that it creates two classes of people: Christians and everyone else, or really, to be more accurate, the right kind of Christians. So conservative Christians.
I love that they start off. I love that they started with Judeo-Christian values, and as a Judeo, at least by genetics, I'm like, wait, why are we like why are we trying to say you have to be a certain type of Christian? You said Judeo-Christian values. We lied about the Judeo part. We were just trying to say that because we want your money.
I mean that is like a perfectly fair and accurate description of the term. I mean, and I think I talk about this on page 2 and 3 of the book. I mean, that is exactly what they're saying. It is a fig leaf. It's a morsel of inclusion thrown a certain way, because to say that something was Christian nationalist after World War II and the Holocaust and Hitler and the Nazis,
that sounded kind of...
Yeah, it sounded like ominous to talk about Christian nationalism.
Like, wasn't Hitler a Catholic and he was a nationalist? That sounds a lot like... I'm just saying.
But I mean, look, this is a fight for American power, and a huge part of that fight is for what it means to be an American.
Yeah.
Do we have a government of the people, for the people, and by the people?
Or just a government in charge of the people?
No, or is it a government of the Christians, for the Christians, and by the Christians? That's the fight that they want to have. And that's the big battle. Christian nationalism is, and this is not an exaggeration, an existential threat to our republic. And I mean, that's why I wrote The Founding Myth. I wrote it to destroy the identity that Christian nationalists rely on by exposing all the myths and lies that go into it.
What I'm picking up here is that Ben Shapiro and Dave Rubin are totally going to have you on their shows because they enjoy honest discourse.
I went on Rubin's show a long time ago to talk about the gay wedding cake before he seemed to go farther off the rails. Haven't heard from him since. Said he wanted to have me on when the book came out. Haven't heard it. Ben Shapiro does not know what he's talking about for the most part.
Oh my God. It's embarrassing how bad he is. Like, I think, I don't know if he knows how bad he is at his job, but I think if he knew, like I have a theory that if someone has real friends, they will not have they will have very few moments of embarrassment because the friend will be like, your hair, your arguments, your clothes, they'll tell you. Like, this is how I know Ivanka Trump has no real friends. Her hair extensions, oof, girl. But like, I look at this and sorry, I got sidetracked by my own bad joke. But I loved it. It's yeah, but I mean, I'm very good at interrupting myself and forgetting where I was in my ramble. Shit.
So. Their goal is to codify Christian privilege.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the goal. They want to elevate Christians to this special favored class. Everybody else, me, you, everybody watching this probably, second-class citizens. Right? So they want to make it, and they're going to do that by making it so that to be an American is to be a Christian, and to be a Christian is to be an American. And this is a fight for who we are. And I don't think that our side has been prepared to have that fight. And that's really what I'm trying to do with The Founding Myth, is give people not just facts, but we need better arguments that are not just cerebral, but which really hit back at that core attempt of theirs to rewrite our identity by rewriting our history. So, The Founding Myth is meant to be sort of this gut punch, street brawling book full of arguments that you have not encountered, but that will win. Even beat people like Ben Shapiro.
I was about to say, who's the reason I brought those two up? Who's taken the God pill? Dave Rubin. I was surprised. I keep up with kind of like, I like the corner of YouTube that's poking at those folks, because every single video of Ben Shapiro, that was why it came to mind, because Ben Shapiro, every single one of his videos is Ben Shapiro destroys argument. I'm like, no. Really? But did you really destroy anything, Ben? You can't even destroy your wife's pussy. So guys, it's been like 2 weeks since I've made a joke about that. And you know how long I'm going to keep making jokes about Ben Shapiro's inability to please a woman? Until he pleases a woman. So we're going to keep going there. But yeah, like, it's surprising because like Dave Rubin used to, like, he spoke at Reason Rally. This is crazy. I had a ride like from the airport in a like, they had the arranged cars for the speakers. I was in a vehicle back to our hotel with him. My only thought upon seeing him, and this guys, this this is mean, and but this is coming from me, who admits to the absurd amount of Botox I use. I have never seen a more Botoxed human in person in my life, and I sat next to Stifler's mom on a flight back from the East Coast to LA once, okay?
I love that she's known as Stifler's mom.
It's
I know, like I know exactly who you're talking about. Everybody knows exactly who you're talking about.
And I'm just like, she's beautiful in person, by the way. But like the fact that I saw Dave Rubin, I'm like, that is Botox gone stupid. That was my only thought upon seeing him. Again, proof that he has no friends. A friend would have told him that to his face. Like,
yeah, no, we had a debate about the gay wedding cake case before it like made it to the Supreme Court. I mean, this was like, I don't know if it must have been post-Trump.
Oh, Jennifer! Someone just commented Jennifer Coolidge. That's the name of Stifler's mom.
She's awesome.
I love her.
Best in Show is one of my Oh,
she's fantastic.
Like to be happy.
Everyone
would like to be happy.
Everyone was like to, not constantly be afraid. Like I don't think I'm constantly afraid, but like I think you live in fear of like, do you wake up and check your like the Twitter trending to see what the fuck has gone wrong in the world almost immediately?
I bought what are these things called for your, because you grind night guard. I had to buy a night guard.
I have a top and a bottom one for people who grind extra hard.
Yeah, I had to buy one briefly in law school because law school sucks. And like I've been waking up with a headache every single morning because I've been doing that. I mean, I doom scroll. I can't help the doom scroll. I'm up till like 11 or midnight.
Oh man, if I would love to only be up till 11 or midnight. Like I've been hitting 4 a.m. lately and being like, I should have been asleep 2 hours ago. I'm gonna keep scrolling till 5. Fuck it. But
the doom scroll is deadly. It's really hard. One of my best friends is getting married in Florida next weekend, and I'm obviously gonna miss that. Just sent me all the groomsmen stuff in the mail today. Sorry you can't be there. Here's like your flask and your engraved belt buckle and stuff like that. This year, just beginning to end, has been miserable, and I mean, again, not even capped off, marking the 3/4 way mark. With RBG.
Like, it's funny. I'm using the term fun. I'm abusing the word funny right now because it's not at all. Like I keep hearing people saying Halloween is ruined. So we're not. I'm like, no. Halloween's not the one I'm upset. Like I like Halloween. I enjoy putting on costumes and pretending I have a fancier, more weird life than I have. But you know which one I'm really sad about, and that is going to hit people really fucking hard? Thanksgiving. Because all of a sudden, like the most busy travel day of the year, people aren't going to want to get on flights and go across the country and bring COVID back home to mom and to grand. Like my mom lives in New Hampshire. It's her favorite holiday, and I have inherited that from her, and I love it because it's just Christmas without the commercialism. It's just I get to cook a lot, and people are happy and all that. But like, it's it's a lot. It's knowing that like I luckily I live in a house with 10 people, so I at least have people to spend Thanksgiving with. But I think the number of like moms who are going to be like, my kid can't come home this year, the number of people that are going to be missing their family for it, like I think that's going to be the first thing that makes people go, oof, this is bad, this is hard. And like, there are little times like I don't know if you're a crier or not. I cry probably at least once a week, just going, like, I cry way easier at cute commercials with puppies in them. Like just the emotion level is higher than usual. It's just, doing whatever you can to survive. Yeah,
no, I think that whatever you can to survive right now. And I mean, I really would encourage everybody to channel their energy into activism. Right now.
It's what you could do. That's I signed up and have started texting for Joe and Kamala. If you can't, there's no amount of time that you guys have to do it for. You can just get really easy to sign up and really easy to send some text messages. And of course, your personal phone number does not go out to the people you're texting. So it's perfectly safe. But no, I worked on the 2008 Obama campaign, and it was such a wonderful. I should say I volunteered, but I was like, basically I was waiting for a job. yeah, basically. No, I was waiting for my job as a government scientist, before I became a science cam girl. I was waiting for my job analyzing explosives for Homeland Security to start. And it's just, contracts for the government take forever to work out. And until that started, I just was going to go to town fucking every day and pound on doors and make phone calls. And it was funny. That kind of taught me a lot about how to influence people, because when you're like, I saw people like you'd be sitting at the desk and people would be reading the script. They gave you a script when you were calling, and people were like, can I get a minute of your time to talk about this? Okay, great. And they just read like the six bullet points, and I'm like, the person you're talking to is not fucking listening to you.
Yeah.
Not yeah. Yeah. Like the thing, whenever I called people, I would, and this kind of was my first, like, bit of learning how to persuade someone, or learning how to, see if I can get someone to change their mind. And that kind of helped for what I do now. But I would call and say, hi, I'm, calling for the Democratic Coordinated Campaign. Do you have a few minutes to talk? And if I could get someone to say, yes, I do, I can chat. And I'm like, oh, great. I wanted to talk to you a bit about, and we would call for all the reps from New Hampshire and of course, Obama. And the first thing the first thing I would ask is, what concerns do you have coming into this election? I would never say a word about my candidate's platform first. Was, what concerns do you have? We really are trying to figure out how we can better serve you. And like, that's, it sounds, instead of like you're trying to push your candidate down their throat, you're trying to see what you can do to make your candidate better. And like, that would get them talking for so much longer. And people were more likely to say by the end of it that they were, they were interested in us bringing them some pamphlets and whatnot. But yeah, like, that's always been my go-to thing, is just, have a conversation and ask the person questions, as opposed to shove it down their throat. But yeah,
people should do that. I mean, people should volunteer for that. I mean, volunteer for the campaign. I think Pod Save America or Vote Save America, that you can adopt states, swing states like Wisconsin, yes, where I am right now, and the way we go, the way the election is going to go. I mean, Georgia right now, I mean, there's 2 Senate seats that you can do in Georgia. Like,
South Carolina is competitive. The Senate seat, Leda Graham might be de-seated, and it's,
I mean, tied. The poll on Thursday showed Lindsey Graham tied with Jamie Harrison.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, I have a friend who's kind of a big donor, and he always says, give till it feels good, and this is the time where you have to give till it hurts. I mean, it is. Do everything you can. I mean, you should be pissed about what McConnell is saying about Ginsburg. You should be crushed that Ginsburg is gone. Channel those feelings into activism.
Guys, I know because I'm over on Restream, I know that some of you guys are throwing in stars over on Facebook, and if you don't know what stars are, 1 star equals 1 penny. So for those of you guys who are supporting the channel either through that or through Patreon or through the occasional PayPal donation, I appreciate it so much. But I can't see what's coming in. If you've been considering throwing in a donation and you never have, take that donation this week and throw it at some Democrats, throw it at some down ballot, throw it at some people who are running for local elections in your state, or for people who are running for Senate or Congress in a swing state. Please, we need those things. So
yeah,
it's there.
Let's I don't know if that might violate a law, actually.
What's
take that back. The thing I was about to say, I take back. I'm not going to say.
It's don't do anything Andrew ever says. He's a lawyer. They lie. No, it's but yeah, like, go give. I mean, it's hard to, like, I get it. We are all at a time where we're financially strapped. I'm like, I've only given $15. I'm a slouch. But if we all only give 5, 10, whatever you can, to one of to a candidate that is specifically a candidate that is in a perilous district that could win, that could help flip the Senate, please do that. Have a look. Like, which states right now are looking good? I believe Tennessee. I believe almost certainly Tennessee, Arizona, and Maine are gonna flip. Like, those are the ones that are looking really good.
Everything looks good now, but I mean, look, I mean,
Yeah.
everything
So
has looked good. I mean, Arizona is good. Wisconsin, I definitely would put some activism there.
Montana might flip.
Yeah, I mean, and Maine is now lean blue, as is Arizona.
Yeah.
Tied in South Carolina. North Carolina is looking good. I mean, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, obviously, were the states that decided the election last time. You know, I mean, those three and Florida easily decide the election this time.
Oh, someone just commented, Sandra James just commented, nothing is looking good because we all thought he couldn't win and he did. Well, let's talk about that a little bit, because I think that people saw it like that was kind of a black swan event that came out of nowhere. And like, I think that people see because he won once, and it's common, you know, it's more often than not the incumbent does win. It's rare that he doesn't. It was really interesting. There's this one guy who has predicted every single presidential win for the last something like 13 cycles, and he has his list of 13 ways that he measures it. And he said, like, and he even predicted Trump winning last time. He predicted that Trump's going to lose this time. There are just enough things that are going wrong that this does not look good for him. The other thing is, and I know that it still seems like it's far enough out, it's only 45 days away. We're 6 weeks out now. I'm terrified. I don't know.
No, I mean, people should. I think
it's good to
I think
worry.
it's okay to be skeptical.
Yeah.
I don't think we want to be complacent. I think a lot of people were complacent last time. I think lot of people felt entitled. Remember, Trump lost the popular vote by 3 million votes last time. There are structural advantages in place for the Trump party.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest being the Electoral College. There are the voter suppression and many others that are also structural advantages. But I mean, look, the only way to do this is to get out there and vote and to get out there and get active. It is absolutely doable. Neither of us are saying, look, sit down, kick back, don't do shit. We got this. It's in the bag. Nobody's suggesting anything like that. It is absolutely doable. I would say that if everybody gets active, if everybody gets out there and vote and everybody does what they can, it's inevitable. But that means you have to do what you can and you have to get out there and you got to get active. It's not sitting on your butt and expecting or feeling entitled to win. You got to work for it. So, yeah.
This is... I had a thing to say, and then I realized I'm just mad about the state of the universe, and I want to cry about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and I want to smash things. I was planning on going for a while today, but I don't know about you. I just need to curl up in a ball and cry for a while. I want to see if there are a few last questions we want to get to, and then wrap it up. I think, because this was bad timing to find out that Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Let's see. Let's grab. If you guys have any zingers of questions that we can throw at Andrew, because I'm sure I'll never be able to talk him into coming on the show again.
I mean,
he hates me.
This was a shitstorm of shit. I definuled will come on again and we'll do this under happier circumstances.
Well, yeah, it's like I'm like I had somebody like I wanted to talk about the shitstorm that was already happening, not the one that was just plopped in our laps.
No, I like fried chicken, mashed potatoes, and like whiskey. Some pizza are in my future, like things like that.
I went to the store and bought a ton of junk food today. Like I cannot have the glutens. This box of gluten-free, not Oreos. Those are gonna. Those are going to figure out how they've been very bad and they're going to be punished. Anyways, Lillian Cheeseman asked, did I miss the lick? Now, I mentioned to you earlier that we lick the camera. It's just go up to the camera lens and give it a quick. Look, these people
I do feel like I need a demonstration just so I get,
Go for it. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
So it was exactly as you described it.
Yeah.
No real surprises.
All right. Yeah. All right.
Ready when you are.
1, 2, 3. You guys, that was
First for me.
I feel weird, and I hope I don't feel like I hope that you guys feel as violated or non-violated as you wanted to out of that. So, but it's now, I believe, so I've had my headache doctor, who's like a world-renowned headache orofacial pain guy. I've had Steve Gadlin, who, if you've ever, he was on Shark Tank. He was the "I want to draw a cat for you." Yeah, he's a really great comedian. So don't worry, you're joining the ranks of famous doctor and Shark Tank guy in people who have licked the screen. So we're just we're getting it's like, look, I mean, and look, the crowd is going wild. They're very happy with the screen lick. So it's Christine Parson asked, "Wow, simultaneous licks." Yeah, this is, look. I'm just, if people will do it. Look, I think people are missing human contact, and that is why the lick caught on. It's a thing. It's a thing we can do. It's something we can do to make you feel like there's a human on the other end of this who will touch you.
Yeah, man, I forgot for like 5 seconds there in that moment, because it was such a moment. Everything that was happening. So that's something.
It's nice to forget. It's a moment of weirdness that after, and everyone knows it's coming. And no matter what, after that moment of weirdness, I'm looking through the comments for a question. There's just a bunch of comments going, "What just happened? What did I just see?" Lick! Like, that's just what the comments are for a while afterwards. So it's nice. Oh, Russell Smith commented, "Andrew, please come back Sunday." I actually, just a quick announcement. I haven't announced my guest for Sunday, but Callie Wright of Queer Splaining is going to. I love Callie so much, and I'm glad you know. I didn't know if you guys knew each other. But yeah, Callie Wright of Queer Splaining is going to be on, and we're going to be discussing. Look, we have to have a talk about Joanne. All right. Joanne's been saying some things about our trans friends, and we have to have a talk about Joanne, and we're not happy about it. So, like, as most of you guys know, I've mentioned it before, my brother is trans. I have a lot of trans friends. I don't take kindly, even to authors who I've really enjoyed their works over the years, deciding that now is the time to be a dick about trans. So I'm really, really grateful that Callie is giving us her time and or their time and their emotional energy to having some chat about this. Anyways, thank you so much for hanging out with us, Andrew, during a time when, like, I as soon as you were like, by the way, Ruth, like, when we got onto this to
I mean,
set
people
up,
don't realize, like, that was literally my phone exploded.
like,
as I'm clicking into the room with you,
that
was 14
we had
minutes
just
before.
we got onto here at 4:45, you guys, and he's like, by the way, just to let you know, literally a minute ago, and I did not know what I was about to hear. He said Ruth Bader Ginsburg died. And I'm like, and you guys know that I occasionally pop an edible before the show. I feel bad that the edible kicked in a little early last week, and I was stuttering quite a bit, but I'm like, I walked downstairs to get a drink. It was just, I could not. But yeah, that was, it's been, anyways,
well, here's a funner fact to leave on.
Funner fact. I like funner facts.
Funner.
Funner.
My book was burned, not because I'm a bigot, but a Christian hate preacher in Tennessee burned a copy of my book. Filmed himself doing it. Filmed himself doing it. And
you're like, bitch, I still got your money.
No. I sent him a copy. We were like having this exchange on Twitter, and I was like, I wrote him, like, it was like half heartfelt, like half cheeky inscription in the beginning. It's not too late for, like, even wife beaters to change that kind of thing. And I lit it on fire with a blowtorch. And yeah, it was like international news for a hot minute.
Wow.
And then Trump.
Wow. Anyways, there have been many requests for you to come back on. I am booked. Yeah, I'm booked out till mid-October.
When something.
You know what? How about I don't want to lock you into a thing now, but we could do an election night show.
I'm going to be very busy on election night.
I figured.
I'm either going to be poll working or poll watching. I'm not sure where the party wants me.
Good.
But, I'm going to be doing something that whole day.
the fact that you're the type of person that will be busy because the party will want you somewhere means that I'm very glad to have gotten you on here now. But we could probably, hopefully, do a quick election recap afterwards. That might be a thing that people would enjoy, and I would enjoy it very much. Anyways, where can people find you?
I'm on the Twitter, Andrew L. Seidel. I'm also Facebook and Instagram at those places. Yeah, that handle everywhere. You can
that handle me everywhere.
Yeah.
So that is where you can find Andrew. Thank you again so much for hanging out with us, answering some questions, and trying to calmly navigate these waters of holy shit, the world is about to go to hell with us.
Hang in there, my friends. Hang in there.
You too, Andrew. It's going to be. I would say to you guys, it's going to be all right, but it's going to be hard. I always sign us off with a quick little, my message to my humans, guys. It's going to be fucking hard. I don't know. As we spent this whole episode kind of ing through, we don't know how bad this is about to get. The best thing you can do, as I ask you every week, is not just to vote, but right now, if you have not checked recently, go check to make sure you haven't been kicked off the voter rolls, and get a friend. If you have not yet, get at least one friend who hasn't registered yet to register and vote, please. This is
on the show so far.
I ask this every single week, and I don't know how many of people I have managed to get to sign up and get a friend to sign up, but please. I know that everybody cannot support me on Patreon. I'm never going to ask everybody to support me on Patreon, but I will ask you all to vote, because this is literally not for me. It's for all of us, because we need to get out of this alive. Anyways, I love you guys. Wash your hands, wear your masks. Take care of your kids while they're going to school right now, and I know that's a bit of a nightmare. I love you guys. I'll see you on Sunday. Bye.